What up and welcome to Rama Screen YouTube channel, and here's my review of Netflix series Bridgerton Season 3 Part 2. Let's rock this. Okay, so we just had Part 1 a few weeks ago. It seems a bit fast or too soon for Part 2, but here we are. Maybe they could have just combined them both without having to go through all this fuss. But at the same time, I also kind of understand the strategy. Not only to get people to keep talking about the show, but also because Part 1 was lovey-dovey with Penelope and Colin, and now Part 2 is where the cracks on the wall starts to appear. The tone is not that much different, it's just that Part 2 is when the pressure amplifies, and they've taken the Whistledown scandal up a notch with some juicy revelations and twists and turns. The review embargo lifts on the same exact night as the premiere, so there's no need to tiptoe around the details anymore. But rest assured that if you are as big a fan of Bridgerton as I am, Part 2 does not disappoint. I've already watched these new episodes, and the drama is marvelous. The whole gossipy Regency nature of the show basically led to this moment. It's the culmination of all of it. To the point where you're like, oh boy, I don't see how any of them could find their way back from any of this. Ooh, exciting! From Shondaland and new showrunner Jess Brownell, Bridgerton is back for its third season and finds Penelope Featherington has finally given up on her long-held crush on Colin Bridgerton after hearing his disparaging words about her last season. She has, however, decided it's time to take a husband, preferably one who will provide her with enough independence to continue her double life as Lady Whistledown, far away from her mother and sisters. But lacking in confidence, Penelope's attempts on the marriage mart fail spectacularly. Meanwhile, Colin has returned from his summer travels with a new look and serious sense of swagger, but he is disheartened to realize that Penelope, the one person who always appreciated him as he was, is giving him the cold shoulder. Eager to win back her friendship, Colin offers to mentor Penelope in the ways of confidence to help her find a husband this season. But when his lessons start to work little too well, Colin must grapple with whether his feelings for Penelope are truly just friendly. Complicating matters for Penelope is her rift with Eloise, who has found a new friend in a very unlikely place, while Penelope's growing presence in the town makes it all the more difficult to keep her Lady Whistledown alter ego a secret. Starring Nicola, Coughlan, Luke Newton, and Claudia Jessie. I gotta say, the whole Cressida Cowper situation got me feeling sad for her, really. I mean, she just wants to be independent, but she is stuck in a family that is hell-bent on making sure she never becomes an independent lady. Her dad is an asshole, and the old geezer they want to marry her to is also an asshole. And the funny thing is, Cressida is actually kind of beautiful. She's not ugly by any stretch of imagination. She could have any man she wants if the threat of economic downfall is not hanging over her head. But that's the problem. If there is one thing that this show does not bluntly admit or doesn't talk about often, is that women in general value money more than love. Hell, even my girlfriend would leave me in a heartbeat if I'm broke. You see, even though they don't like each other, Cressida and Penelope are similar in that they are trying to find a way out of their predicament. Well, Penelope wants to have her cake and eat it too, you know what I mean? Anyway, Cressida is not necessarily a villain, but her current trajectory has the markings of a villain origin storyline. But right now, she is a tragic character, a damsel in distress, who has no choice but to take matters into her own hands because nobody is coming to save her. Now, I know the big bombshell in this part 2 is what happens at the end of episode 6 with Penelope and Colin, but can we talk a bit about their sex scene on episode 5? So gentle, so tastefully done, so romantic. Although I have a feeling that some people would make it a big deal, but not for that reason, but because audiences in general have been conditioned to watch sex scenes only when it involves two slim-looking sexy individuals, which is not the case with this one. But that's also part of why Bridgerton continues to push boundaries, because the diversity that's on display on this show is not just about skin color, but also about body positivity. And so, such a sex scene as the one with Penelope and Colin, though it's something you don't see on the screen every day, it's very much a refreshing change of scenery. The other thing that I find fascinating about part 2 is the juxtaposition between Penelope's mom and Cressida's mom. They share a lot in common, and whether or not you think their heart is in the right place, maybe it's not, but ultimately, the way that they try to side with their respective daughters is commendable at best. So yeah, overall I give Bridgerton Season 3 Part 2 the rating of 4 out of 5. The reveals will be the talk of the town, and my god, this show is so juicy. It makes other primetime soap operas pale in comparison. Bridgerton just keeps on winning!